Right. I'll let you to take away straight away, Arafat. If you want to go ahead and demo your recent blog posts, or you already posted around GuessWhat application, which is, again, quick intro. Arafat is a solution architect at EY and MVP based in Sydney. So he's done a lot of community work around AI. So keen to hear what his recent creation on SK is. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I'll share my screen. Thanks for the introduction and brilliant demo, Jim. I wish I could present something similar. But yeah, a little bit of background before I get into this. So as Vic has mentioned, so I'm Arafat, but I'm also a host of 2 different community events over here in Sydney. So I run, or I co-run, Azure Sydney user group. So if you are based in Sydney and if you would like to come, please join us. We bring in a lot of folks from Microsoft, but also from the community as well. And what we usually focus is on the app dev part of it and the AI aspect of Azure. So when I was giving a talk in one of the graph database meetup, although it was not related to Azure, but they asked me to talk about a lot on Azure OpenAI, because that was the time when they started talking about it much more enthusiastically. When I say they means Microsoft. So they started talking to me about .NET stuff, mostly the audience. And I used to get a lot of questions on how do we use it. Then I decided to create a project myself specifically for .NET. I've got a strong .NET background as well, so I'm very basic in Python. So whenever you used to see something like this, which you see right now, a Jupyter notebook, I used to get upset about this, that we don't have any .NET support on that, and just because of the nature of how the notebooks used to run. Thanks to the polyglot notebooks now, so we can run all of this with multiple languages as well. So what I decided, that rather than going with the notebook path, I should create an end-to-end solution to show .NET developers how they can really use all of these technologies. By the time Semantic Kernel came in, so I thought that let's start using Semantic Kernels. And I created this generative AI repo, so you can go with there if you like it. This basically for the basic starters. However, I'm aiming to keep it as clean as it can be, and would like your contribution as well. If you are good at Python, I still have a lot to cover in Python. I'm super basic in Python, so I did create this for Python stuff, like. But you can see that coming soon with an example. However, I'm trying to just write it back, whatever I've written in C#. Yes, I can use ChatGPT or other OpenAI models to convert it, but I want to be clean for the basic developers or the new developers. So my target audience is a person who is just started, or who has just started, or a junior developer. As soon as I went with the Semantic Kernel route, so I thought that I should create both the notebooks. So I've created Azure OpenAI notebook, Semantic Kernel notebook. I decided to create just the notebook in the start, but then I moved towards my end-to-end solution. The end-to-end solution, as Vic has mentioned, so I thought of creating an app called GuessWhat. It's in private repo right now. The reason why I've kept it private, because I'm polishing the docs and other stuff. So definitely I'll be open sourcing it. If you want to be a part of it, you want early access, please message me. I'll give you. So like nothing hidden. It's just for the community as well. I have written a whole blog post of this. This is the basic architecture of this. So .NET MAUI app, talking to semantic kernel, getting riddles generated out of GPT 3.5 or GPT 4, based upon whatever you like, and then get the landmark from Dolly to and guess it using cosine similarity, just very basic stuff. And also, like, I've written down everything, or how I've created this with some interesting concepts defined in the easiest possible manner so that people can look at it. So, but rather than going into the screenshots, I'll show you what it is, and then I'll jump into the code as well. So this is the app, very basic. And since I'm not a UX person, so please excuse any UX stuff if you think that they are absolutely wrong. So in settings, you are just defining your keys, your endpoints, and other stuff. And when you click on riddle, it tries to create a riddle, and then you just have to answer that riddle. So this is my this is live, so this is not recorded. So this is my phone. You may see something popping up as well. So I speak without a mic and here without a nose. And if I say a sound or something, it will just go and see. The answer is an echo, and since the cosine similarity of this is 86%, so it is correct. If I click refresh, it would just go and bring up anything else. So if I write, let's say, I don't know, then it would say maybe if the cosine similarity matches, then it would say yes. Otherwise, it would say wrong because it's a pencil. The idea of this is to, of course, increase it, add some gamification to it, but this was just a start. And then you can go on. You will never see a repetition of it because I'm keeping the history in a very basic or beginner manner, how we would keep the history in the prompts, and I'll talk about it in a bit. When you go to the landmarks, so you have to choose a country. So let's say I'm choosing a country as Australia, and the list of countries you see over there is basically the top 100 countries based upon their population. So I did not want to take all of those countries. So if anybody is from the country which are not from the top 100 ones, I apologize, but I had to just restrict those country list. So if I say Sydney Opera House, then it would just give me this. I know that I have to fix this, but yeah. So this is the description which has been generated by when we created when we received the image from Dolly, and it is matching this text with this text, which is the image written, which is the description written from the response. And then, of course, again, as I said, you can go back and choose, let's say, any other country name, and then it will give you a landmark of that as well. So this is just a start. There will be, I have got some more ideas, but happy to take more ideas from you as well. How can we improve using semantic kernel? So the basic idea is to use semantic kernel rather than showing you the fancy way of it. How can we improve it, and what else we can add? So of course, new models coming up, let's say GPT-4 with vision. So we can add one more capability. This is what I was thinking this morning, that we would allow user to upload an image and ask a riddle around that as well. So like you have uploaded an image of an apple, so the riddle or something will be asked around the apple or the opposite of apple or any other fruit. So yeah, this is it. So I'll walk you through the code as well. So nothing super fancy, very basic stuff of anybody has worked, if anybody has worked on the .NET MAUI or Xamarin or I would say MVVM broadly. The good part of, so this is running on .NET 8, by the way. So if anybody has run on .NET 7 as well, .NET MAUI specifically, the good part of .NET MAUI 7 and 8 is that now we have the capability of dependency injection. This has made our life easier. So you can invoke anything from any class. The way I've written these functions are, I know, quite basic, but I did not want to deviate from what is defined over here. So because the main reason is to educate young developers, and if I were to go and talk about what, let's say, Alex has been showing so far in his YouTube videos, which is a little different than these, because they are still working on improving the documents or documentation. So I'm trying to keep myself stick to the documentation side. So it's just a basic SK service, which is doing all the magic. Apart from that is the basic code, in, let's say, in country page and all other stuff. So very basic startup project. But once I'm done with the documentation, I'll be happy to just public the repo. That's it from my end. And anybody has any questions?
Brilliant demo, and provide different way of sort of demonstrating the ability of SK. So well done on that. Yeah, any questions from the community? I guess a quick one from me. It's just really around around the the use of LLM and how easy it is. What's your overall experience of SK?
Yeah, I think documentation helped me a lot, because they really invested good time in it. I think so. My way of starting is to just go through the documentation first rather than jumping into the notebooks. I found a couple of issues, notebook, submitted my PR, and then got accepted over there as well. So specifically around Azure OpenAI, the notebooks were lacking, I think, the endpoints, which I struggled because I did not know. So that's why I was saying that it's a good way to start with the documentation as what I do. I found it easier, coming from someone who's from the .NET background. I would never, I started learning about LangChain and other stuff. When I learned more about SK, then started making more sense for me to grasp that concept in LangChain. So people usually come from the other side of the world. So in a nutshell, I think it was easier for me, and someone who has not worked before. Like, yes, we have worked in Azure OpenAI service in doing all of that drag patterns and other stuff, but this was a little different approach than injecting something or using cognitive search or any other um, um, like any other technology. This brings to me a question in my mind from Jim, but I'll ask you, Jim, later on. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you could just dive in just a little bit more on how you do the image generation, like what libraries you were making use of.
Oh, image generation. So that's basically, I'm not using any other library to generate an image. It's SK, by the way. So SK provides you the image generation interface. That interface is called image generation, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, that's the one. So
is it using DALL-E 2 or
DALL-E 2? Yeah, DALL-E 2. DALL-E 2. Yeah. I don't think that I've gotten access to DALL-E 2 yet.
Right.
So or DALL-E 3 yet. But yeah, if it would be DALL-E 3, then my cases of these would increase, rather than just riddles or landmarks.
Do we have any information on when DALL-E 3 might be available through Semantic Kernel?
I think question for Vic or
Scott. So that's a Semantic Kernel already supports DALL-E 2 and 3, but it's the model availability through Azure OpenAI that I think you're probably asking about, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a TBC. TBC. DALL-E 2 already is available through Azure OpenAI service. So you just add a new kernel service, the image service, and choose a model deployment, etc. But yeah, the TBC. We're being recorded, so TBC.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and also there's a project roadmap as well. I'll just post it in the in terms of SK. I'll put it in the chat for reference, and that's public too. Yep. Excellent. fantastic demo. I really like that. It's simple and but at the same time, it's providing you a diverse set of capabilities.
Yeah, I really wanted to deploy it on iPhone as well. It's just that the nature of the account, you can deploy it through your Windows machine, but you need to have a pro developer account for that.
Yeah. It's a bit like that with Apple, right? So yeah.